This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Unbeknownst to most, Vespucci was not named Amerigo until after the naming of the New World on Waldseemüller's map, as writer Jan R. Carew records. Alberigo Vespucci and I deliberately use his authentic Christian name, a Florentine dilettante and rascal, corrected Columbus's error. Vespucci declared that what Columbus had indeed stumbled on was a new world. Alberigo was undoubtedly a Florentine dilettante, and an extraordinarily clever one. Why would he otherwise have changed his Christian name after his voyage to the Americas? In other words, writes author Steve Quayle in his book True Legends, the New World wasn't named after the mapmaker, but rather the mapmaker Vespucci named himself after the New World, and his friends and historians then claimed that the Americas were named after him. One of those claims came from a Florentine bishop of the time who boasted in a letter, "And well may our new world be named America, since its discovery was due to our eminent countryman, Amerigo Vespucci." This singular line from the bishop's letter has been touted by historians as proof that America was named after Vespucci. But aside from changing his name to match Waldseemüller's map, there are many other compelling arguments against America being named after Amerigo Vespucci. For starters, even if they had intended to name the New World after him, it is highly unlikely that Waldseemüller and Ringman would have used Vespucci's first name instead of his last. As historian Alexander Del Mar notes, had there been any intention to name the continent after Vespucci, his surname would have been used, so that the result would have been something like Vespugia instead of Ameriga. In short, there seems to be very little room to doubt that the world has been misled through the complimentary notice of the Florentine bishop who claimed the New World was named after Vespucci.
The name Amerigo, or Amerigo, or Amerige, which are the three variations in spelling known until 1507, would give in Latin Amerigonius, Amerigius, Amerigo, or even Amerige, but not Americas, alright? Those names would not give Americas. Jean Basson, in making such a lapsus linguae, must have been influenced and entirely directed by the aboriginal name of Amerique, which reached Europe 4 years before. So not only Amerique was over in Europe, but also the word Amaraka, Amaraka, Amaru, Amaraka, Pana, the land and country of Amaraka. So Amerique and Amaraka were over there already, which reached Europe 4 years before and had time to spread as a name of a country and a tribe of Indians rich in gold. For in 1503, Colombo and his 150 seamen returned from Cariai and Carambaru on the Mosquito Coast. The proofreader, castigator Martin Hilacomulus Waldseemüller, wrongly credited as the godfather of the New World. So Westmiller map is when we first see the word America, and was not a partisan of the name America, for he does not use it in any of his publications, no, not even on his map of the New World of the Ptolemy of 1513, called only Terra Nova, without the name America anywhere. The canon Gantier Lud, secretary of the Duke of Lorraine, did not use it in his Speculi Orbis Declaratio, etc., 1507, and Ringman, the Bosnian poet and professor of cosmography at St. Dié and afterwards at Basel, never quoted it. The only publication in which the name America is found after the proposition of the Bosnian Gymnasium in 1507 is in the Globus Mundi, 1509, Strasbourg, without name of an author, but which is attributed to Jean Basson, the translator of the Quatuor Navigaciones and the true godfather of the New World. And there it is found only once in the chapter De Descritio Terra, and that's where all the hijack came with the name, all right, from that map from Strasbourg, all right. Continuing says the name America. The name was not accidentally created in the Vosges, as the humble thought, but the application to Vespucci of the indigenous name Amerique was wrongly made there. The name is not a creation of the Vosgian gymnasium, but only an erroneous assimilation to the Christian name of a man having some similarity with it, against all the rules of priority, of discovery, and of naming a great country and using the Christian name of a piloto instead of his family name. After the mistake had been made, Vespucci took care to make it good by altering the orthography of his Christian name, changing his signature of 1492 Amerigo into Amerigo with 2 R's after 1507 and until his death. So this article, it's a lot of pages. I didn't read that part, but they explain how he started signing his name differently after 1507 because he saw that the discovery was the credit was being given to him, and also the name America, which he thought it was very convenient. So he started signing everything with 2 R's. All right, just like Amerique, Amerigo, Amerique, but it was actually before he was signing Amerigo, G. After 1507 until his death, all the discussions among Americanists come entirely from their ignorance of the existence of a tribe of Indians who called themselves the Ameriques, Ameriques, Tamarique, Tamaru, Amarucan, Americans, all right? So it's because of the ignorance of the existence of this tribe of Indians and who inhabit the Sierra Amerique and the country rich in gold between Lake Nicaragua and the Mosquito Coast. They were confronted by such difficulties that it is true chaos of dates, names, pretensions of all sorts, patriotic rivalries, and futile explanations unworthy of the characters and profound signs of some of their number. All right, so he's talking about how he was able to basically determine that that Amerigo Vespucci, his name had nothing to do with the word America, which he was able to find an indigenous tribe named Amerisque and the Amerisque Mountains, and that seems more like a possible origin of the name. And we know it is, we know it's connected to the Amaracapana, Amaru people, because it's all one kingdom, Central America and South America, the Amaru, Quetzalcoatl, Amaru, plum serpent, all right? All right, so now we're in this website. It's from the Museum of Agropolis. It's a French, museum of agriculture, Agropolis. And it says here, Egypt was called by its people Tamari. Again, Egypt was called by its people Tamari, not by Greeks, Romans, or white Europeans or other, people that are not from that region or from this culture, civilization. Again, the people who are actually from this culture and civilization, they called it Tamari, meaning the beloved land, which is cultivated by the Ahau, whatever that means. There were other descriptive names of Egypt, such as Ta'ankh, meaning the land of flood and fertile soil, Kemet, fertile soil, black soil. We have black and fertile soil here in America, very abundantly, meaning the black soil. Nahet, meaning land of sycamore tree, and Mizr, the safe and civilized country. And now we're in this book. It's called A Book of the Beginnings by Gerald Massey. And it says here, according to Aulus Gellius Diodorus, Egypt was named Aeria, The Egyptian Aur, later Aer. But look at this, Aeria. Just add an M between the A and the E. What do you get? Ameria, right? Ameria, Aeria. All right. The Egyptian Ar, later Aer, in the name of the river Hebrew Er. Aeria is the land of the river, possibly with the further meaning of the pure, as Ia means to wash, whiten, purify. Another name of Egypt is Tamari. Again, another name of Egypt is Tamari. Again, Tamarikan, Tamarik, the Tamariqua, Tamari, Tamarikans. Ta is to drop, heap, deposit, type. Mary is the inundation. Tamari is land thus deposited. The vulgar English to ta is a child's word, and it means to deposit soil. Also, Tamari reads the gift of inundation, the gift of the goddess Mary, the goddess Mary, or Mary, who had dual form as Mary Res, south, and Mehi, north. Egypt is also designated the land of the eye. All right, so that's interesting. So Mary Res, south, we're talking about South America, and Mehi, Mexico, Mehi, North America. All right, now we're going to read from the Zondervan Encyclopedia of the Bible, Volume 2. All right, a lot of you know about this Bible. And it says here, names of Egypt. The ancient Egyptians had several terms for their homeland. Kemet, the black land, as opposed to the desert, the red land. Tawi, the two lands, Upper and Lower Egypt. And Tamari, again, and Tamari, Tamari, a term of uncertain meaning. They don't know what it means. They're telling you that. But you know what? We all know what it means. It means Tamarika, the beloved land of the priest kings, the Khans. The English name Egypt derives from Greek Aegyptos, which in turn derives from Egyptian, and it says here, Pata, mention of the Ka spirit of the god Pita, or house of Pita, a name for Memphis, the ancient capital. All right. This term, already attested in the Armana letters of the 14th century BC as Hikupta, shows the use of a city named for the land. Conversely, the Arabic name of the land, Mazar or Mizr, also stands for Cairo, successor to Memphis. All right. So they're telling you that they had many names, but one of them was Tamari. Again, Tamari, which they don't know what it means. That's why they don't teach us about this. But they know, those in the elite circles, right, what Tamari is and where it was. All right, so we went through a lot of references, right, referring to Egypt as Tamari. This is one of them. Is called an Egyptian hieroglyphic dictionary with an index of English words, king list, and geographical list with indexes, list of hieroglyphic characters, Coptic and Semitic alphabets, etc. By Sir E.A. Wallace Budge. It says M.A. and L.I.T.T.D., Cambridge, Massachusetts. All right, and it says sometime scholar of Christ College, Cambridge. All right, and it says he was the keeper of the Egyptian and Assyrian Antiquities, British Museum. So very important guy, scholar. This is volume 2. We're going to go into volume 1 and 2. All right, this is around 1920. All right. All right, so we're on page 815 in this book in volume 2. And we find here the word Tamerau. Tamarau. What does it say? People of the land of the Nile flood. We're talking about the Mississippi, Colorado River, Grand Canyon. What are we talking about here? That's the real facts. All right, so dodge the hijack when you're thinking about Nile River today. So Tameru, the people of the land of the Nile flood. Example, the Egyptians. A Tameru is an Egyptian of the Nile flood of the Mississippi. Tameru.
You ever been mind-fucked before?
I don't think so.
I'm mind-fucking you right now.
All right, now look at this. Remove the T, right? And remove the A in the bottom. What are you left with? You left with Ameru. Tupac Amaru. The plum serpent, remember? Tameru. Amera. Tamari. All right.
Pyramid on the Nile in Northeast Africa doesn't have stair steps going up it. It doesn't have temples on top of its summits. They could not go and break through the boat on the temples atop those great pyramids. There are none there. And that was the clue that Egypt was writing about the Americas. And the deeper I got into the records, the clearer it got. They started actually saying, and because Amun loved that land so much, he said it's his beloved land, and that word was Mary, the beloved. Mary, M-E-R-I, Mary. And the land, of course, as before, is Ta. So you have the land, the beloved land, Ta-Mary. And they kept that name and just put the Ta on the end of it. So Ta-Mary became a Mary Ta. We simply say America. We kept the name that Egypt gave to the Americas. So that was the big mystery behind that $10 million map that Martin Waldseemüller made and then put the name America on it in 1507. And then those who knew and those who were trying to hide things said, wait a minute, you can't put that name on here. And the next time he reprinted that map, it was off. It was gone. Because that's the name that Egypt had given the land, Tamari.
And we're back at this website called Rasta Life Wire. We've read from this before. This website, this brother got good blogs. And it says the Black African Kemites, Black Ancient Egyptians. It says Black is ancient Kemet, Egypt. Several so-called distinguished authors have proposed the Egyptians called their country Kemet or Kemet, which means black, after the color of the soil. This twisted lie is not supported by any analysis of the ancient Egyptian language. There is nothing in the grammar suggesting that soil or even earth had any connection with the use of the word Kemet. So we just read in the other book it really meant like the city, right? Mizr or Mizraim. The only references to the soil in the names of ancient Egypt were the names of Tamari and Tamir. Ta meaning earth or land. So Tamarika, the land of Hamarika, Ameri. All right. So anything related to soil in the names of ancient Egypt were the names Tamari, Tamir, Tamarika, Ameri, Americana, Tamarika Pana, Tamarik, Tamarikwa, Tamari. All right. All right. So now we're in the same book. By the same author, but we're in volume 1 now. All right. Page 315, we see the word or the sound Mera. All right. Hieroglyph says an ancient name of Egypt. An ancient name of Egypt. Mera, Pa, Tamera, Amera, America, Americana. Remember? America, Americapana, Americapana, the land of Egypt, or the plump serpent, Mer. You know, and it seems a lot of people know about this name, Tamari. You know, it's not just me. This has been around, and you can see this Pinterest page. They're naming it Tamari/Kemet/Africa. Dodge the hijack, because what do we see here? Just take the T away. What do you get? Ameri, add a CA. America, America, Tamaricans. We're in the website .co.com. It says, what did the ancient Egyptians call Egypt? It's all Greek to the Egyptians. The Odyssey Homer used Aegyptus to refer to the land of Egypt, meaning it was in use by the 8th century BC. Victorian sources suggest Aegyptus, a corruption of Hakapita, home of the soul of Pita. Alright, so Egypt doesn't mean Kemet or black soil, it means something to do with the house or home of Pita, which in turn goes back into what it says here that was the Egyptian name for the city of Memphis. That was the city of Memphis. And what are we talking about? Tennessee, the Nile, the Mississippi, where Pita, the potter creator god, was chief deity. But there was a fellow named Aegyptus who plays a big role here too. Now it says further down here, it says Kemet first made its appearance around the 11th dynasty, around the same time as another term, the beloved land, or Tamari. You see, T-A-M-E-R-Y now, Tamari, the beloved land. So it came around the same time, Kemet and Tamari. All right. Perhaps, as scholar Argan Gullit suggests, these monikers came out of a need to emphasize national unity after the chaos of the first intermediate period. So again, another name, the beloved land, Tamari, the beloved land. We miss our beloved land, the ancient land, the legend. We're talking about America before they got to Africa. That was their beloved land. All right, where their ancestors came from before they settled in Africa. The beloved land, the fertile land. I miss it, our beloved land, America, Tamari, Tamarica. All right, now we're in Wikipedia, and it says here, Egyptians, right? Egyptians. This says they're an ethnic group native to Egypt. Okay, really? Okay. All right, well, I guess modern references to them, right? Now it says here, terminology. Egyptians, from Greek, Aegyptos, Egypt. The Greek name is derived from late Egyptian Hikupta, Memphis, Memphis. So Egypt is really Memphis. The word Egyptus, we're not talking about over there in Africa. We're talking about that the word Egyptus basically meant the capital or their city of Memphis or Misr, Memphis or Hikupta, a corruption of the earlier Egyptian name Hakapita, meaning home of the Ka, soul of Pita. The name of temple to god Pita at Memphis. A lot further down in this article, the Wikipedia says the Egyptian sense of superiority was given religious validation as foreigners in the land of Tamari, Egypt. Foreigners in the land of Tamari. What is the land of Tamari? Tamari, Tamarica is Egypt, parentheses, right? Same place. So Egypt is Tamari, is Memphis, is in Tennessee, right? We have a Memphis, Tennessee, right? Next to the Mississippi, next to a river. Where anathema to the maintenance of mat, a view most clearly expressed by the admonitions of Ipuwer in reaction to the chaotic events of the second intermediate period. All right, so now we're in Wikimedia Commons. Just wanted to show you guys this. It says category names in Egyptian hieroglyphics, right? All right, so we got different examples here. All right, so I actually found the word Tamari and its glyph. Check it out, Tamari. So let's go into it. All right, it says Tamari, and this is the symbol. You see the hieroglyphic symbol? Now notice the first symbol looks very much like the Maya number writing system, how they write numbers. Look at that. All right, and then you see a feather here, of course. All right, so Tamari, this is the hieroglyphic for Tamari. All right. And in the description, what does it say? Egyptian name of Egypt. This is the Egyptian name of Egypt, Tamari. This is what they called it themselves. The Egyptian name of Egypt is Tamari. All right, Tamari, not a Greek word or anything else. This is what they called it. Their land, beloved land. Tamari, Tamarika, Tamari, Tamari, Tamari.
Yo, I want to do this quick little video on Egyptian hieroglyphs. I'm gonna look at this book called Egyptian Hieroglyphics: How to Read and Write Them by Stephanie Rossini. This the hieroglyph for Egypt. Kemet, KMT. This the hieroglyph. This the hieroglyph for the word black. And KM. So I guess that's how they equate Kemet to being black or people somehow. I guess I'm still trying to wrap my head around it, or you know. But here, this is the interesting thing though. It's another hieroglyph for the same word, Egypt. But this one says Tamari, something like that. Now that's what I want to look at, Tamari. Why is there two hieroglyphs for Egypt? So when you hear a scripture like, or anything dealing in the Bible dealing with Egypt, how do you know which one or which Egypt? Which Egypt are you from? Go to this map right here. Type in Tamaricans or DeSoto map, Florida. And this is a map of Florida. Whoever made the map, I guess, either knew that it's Egypt or part of Egypt or something like that. Go down there at the bottom. It says T Americans. T, even got the little hyphen, or I mean the little whatever, and Americans. American.
Alright, so we're in this website called sophiatopia.org, and it says here the Book of the Hidden Chamber. Alright, and this says the Book of the Hidden Chamber, 6 hour, the five-headed serpent, tail and mouth, the mysterious image of Duat, unknown and unseen, tomb of Pharaoh Tutmosis III, from 1479 to 1426 BC, supposedly. Alright, and I'm just going to go down to this part right here real quick. It says, to the eyes of the Horus falcon, floating in the sky, above the striking contrast between rich cultivation and parched aridity, the beloved land, Tamari, as Egypt was called by the Egyptians. The word Egypt comes from Hikupta, the native name of the temple of Ptah, a stretch of fertile land along the Nile, Mississippi, surrounded by deserts. The riverbanks and fields are the black land, Kemet, or the rich soil, the black soil, right? Bordered by the red land or desert, a sandstone desolation called desert to this day. All right, so again, Tamari, as Egypt was called by the Egyptians, Tamari-Ka. Says here in the book, Egypt was the image of heaven on earth and temple of the whole world. And then I guess it's written by, a lot of people know, Helena Blavatsky, right? Everybody knows who that is, right? So it says here, Psalms. The usual ancient name for Egypt was Kemet or Kem. It means the black and refers to the color of the earth. When the inundation of the Nile was subsided, the earth emerges as a rich purplish black. The official name for the Egyptians was Kem-Tiu or Kemu, but they usually referred to themselves simply as mankind or Remeth. Another name for Egypt was Tamari, meaning the beloved land, Tamarika. Ancient Egyptian Agriculture and the Origins of Horticulture by Jules Janik, Department of Horticulture and Landscape Architecture, Purdue University. All right. And it says here, the ancient names for Egypt underscore the relation between the land, the people, and its agriculture. Katab. These include Tamari, again, Tamari, the beloved land, cultivated by the Ho, Ta'ak, the land of flood and fertile soil, Kemet, the black soil, Tamhi, the land of the flax plant, and Nehet, the land of the sycamore fig tree, and Mizr, or Mizraim, the safe and civilized country. Alright, so again, this includes Tamari, the beloved land, the fertile land, America, the terrestrial paradise, beloved, Tamarika. Alright, so we're reading this other book. It says Patapsco, a novel of Benjamin Banneker by E. Landon Hopgood. Alright, and it says here, the time came when King Ausar was murdered by his brother Set. The Almighty gave Auset a son to slay Set. After avenging his father, the son of Auset, named Heru, ruled Tamari. He ruled where? Or what? Tamarika. He ruled Heru, ruled Tamarika, Amaru, along with his mother in peace. At still later time, the people of Ameri, sailed even further downriver and built the mightiest nation of the ancient world. They called the nation Kemet. Kemet remained a mighty nation for more than 6,000 years. During those 6,000 years, many people came from many lands to become part of Kemet. Some came from yellow lands, brown lands, and white lands, as well as other black lands. In time, the people from different lands became one nation of many, and the people of Kemet were no longer black. When in time the black and yellow, the brown and the white were one, the nation became a land of 10 people. In due course, Kemet was conquered by the people of Greece. The people of Greece no longer called the land Kemet or Tamari. What did they do? They erased the name, for it was no longer the black land. When the Greeks conquered Kemet, they named it Egypt. and Egypt is the name by which we know that land today. All right, so it was called Tamarika.
Now that you know the truth, it is time to celebrate. In the description box, I will leave the lyrics to this song in English.